Alright guys, for today's video I'm going to be doing a review on Night of the Living Dead. The classic George Romero movie. It's one of my personal favorites. You can't really compare it to the movies that are out nowadays, especially in terms of the effects that they have. This was the first movie that was made on a low budget, that really made itself a contender with the other ones. Uh, not seen a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, but what I have seen has been pretty interesting. Listening to George talk about how the effects were pretty low, so the practical effects were, really had to be on mark and on point. As opposed to today, where CGI is mass effect. Like I really appreciate those low quality effects. It doesn't bother me one bit. I did watch the movie with my little brother Pete, and he really couldn't sit through the movie that well. Um, so it's one of those movies where once you get an appreciation for classic films or an appreciation for low budget films, like then I would say go back and watch this. It's not a movie that I would say start off the zombie franchise with. It's definitely not that. And if you're going for, high quality, big budget films, this is certainly one that you should avoid. Besides the fact that it's in black and white, which I think adds to the creep factor of this movie. The thing that the film does really well, though, especially when you compare it to modern zombie movies, is this film really makes them feel unstoppable and kind of relentless in their presence. It's not like some of the movies where there's a mass load of zombies running and coming towards you. Like nowadays, I think that's kind of overplayed. But the simplisticness of seeing a couple zombies straggling across the open field, um, as Ben and Barbara are barricaded inside this house, trying to keep themselves safe, and then seeing, like I said, the one or two zombies come in, and then four or five more come, and then you got 20 outside your door. It's really one of those things where it's like it's not overwhelming, and it slowly builds that anticipation, which I think a lot of movies nowadays they don't do. Um, and one thing that this movie does really well as well is it doesn't make the zombies comical, which happens a lot more nowadays with these zombie movies. One zombie movie that I watched had the zombies actually doing ninja moves and shooting guns, and I'm like, well, what's the point? That's just kind of stupid to me. But with these, like, it actually took it as like a serious threat, and you really are left with the question of what is going on, what is happening. The characters that are involved in this movie that slowly come one by one, um, they're really interesting, and I think there are many different takes on like humanity, where you have the kind of heroic type guy that needs to do what needs to be done to get the job done to make sure everyone's safe. You have the panicked person who is just in disbelief at the whole thing that's going on, and really just doesn't know what to do and is kind of scared, stiff, no pun intended. You have the person who is looking for, what about me? Screw everyone else. What about me? I'll help the group as long as it benefits me. There's certainly a lot of those aspects in there. And then you have the character that, feels the overwhelming sense of loss, because she can't save her child. She doesn't know what's wrong. Um, and all of those characters are just sympathetic characters, and they're relatable characters, because I think each one of us has that aspect to us. We all have that, sense of self-preservation. We all have that sense of, well, I can help other people. We all have that sense of, shit, I don't know what to do. And so when I watch this movie, I try not to look at the characters as individual characters. I try to look at the whole story and sense of characters as really just symbolism for us, and what we would do in that type of situation. And I think it's a lot more interesting. Like I said, looking back, you know, uh, through that type of mentality, and not from the action aspect, I think you can appreciate this film a lot more. Creepy is a big reason why this movie works. This movie is just creepy as hell. Um, I mean, how many times have we looked outside our window on a dark, to a dark street, or in the woods or something, and we don't know what's out there. And this movie has a lot of that, because you don't know what's out there. they can escape to the truck, and can they get away, and will they be safe? And it's just, you just don't know, and you're learning these different things through the character's eyes, which again, for at the time, is just really a good way to do the story, as opposed to a lot of the cheap laughs that they did for the horror genre, the cheesiness factor. Like, there's no cheese factor to this movie, which a lot of the movies from that time that I watched, like, it was there. So I really appreciate this movie for what it gave us, because I really don't think we would be at in the horror genre where we would be if it wasn't for this movie. And I'm sure there are others that are there, but to me, this is one of the top ones. The realistic atmosphere to the film and the great sense of tension is what makes this movie just really, really great. Um, and the ending was just really depressing. Without spoiling it for you guys, because I really don't want to delve too much into spoilers on my movie reviews. The ending is just it. You leave it and you're just you have this sense of uh, really. I would recommend it to any one of you guys. If you like horror movies, or if you just want a good movie, if you don't mind black and white or old, like, seriously, pick this movie up. It's a good movie to watch in the dark, when no one's home. It's just, creep yourself out. I don't know how much of it's in your mind or how much is in the movie, but seriously, if you pick it up, watch it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you are, I'll be surprised, especially with a lot of the crap that's out there now. It's really refreshing to go back to this movie after a couple of zombie movies, because you kind of sit there and see the roots of where we came from on this stuff, and it's really a good movie. So if you want to creep yourself out, yeah, this is a good movie. Um, if you like what you watched, then any of the movies or any of the videos I got, click subscribe, and as always, guys, keep on geeking on.